Everyone enjoyed the minigames in Free Realms, but not everyone remembers them, at least I don't remember them all, which is why I'm glad that I had some help making this tier list. I was able to get a bunch of people's opinions in order to edit this and make it the best tier list possible. Well, without the game actually existing at the moment. With that said, also, none of this footage is mine that I took personally. I borrowed some from other people. I'm leaving their names in the description. Thank you so much if you're one of those people. And without further ado, let's get into the tier list. First of all, you'll notice there is no D tier because there's no bad Free Realms minigames. There's only average Free Realms minigames, like this one, which is mining. Mining has average music, and it's just an average match 3 game. Its only unique factor is that you have to get ore to the bottom of the screen. I think there's a Candy Crush game mode like that. I can't remember what it's called, but there's really not much else to say about this one. Next up is harvesting, which is nearly identical. The only reason it's above the other is because of how other people ranked it when I asked them. I don't think there's really too much difference though. Maybe some people just like plants more than they like rocks. I guess I like plants more than I like rocks. You can eat plants, you cannot eat rocks. That's it. It's also a match 3. Is it a match 3? You match as many as you can. There's only 3 match 3 minigames in Free Realms, and wouldn't you know it, this is the 3rd one in the same tier. This one is blacksmithing though, and it is different in that the music is phenomenal. Gameplay wise, I actually don't even know. It's basically the same, but the music sounds like something out of Bastion, an indie roguelike game that has really cool music. You can look it up. Sounds just like that. Anyways, that's it for the match 3 minigames, and that's also it for B tier. Hack and Slash is one of the minigames that I actually do remember from when I was a kid, although I only played it like once or twice. I do remember the concept, and then when I watched the video it all came back. I do remember it. It's not the best, which is why it's at the bottom of A tier, but it's A tier nonetheless, right? It was fun, it was unique. There's nothing really like that. It is one of the flash minigames, but you basically just would swing your mouse whichever way it told you to, and the faster you did it, I think the more points you got. I don't know how many of these there were in the world, or if you got anything from completing them, but it perfectly fulfills the purpose of a minigame. It's a minigame. Smelting is a minigame that's very similar to the cooking minigame, where it's kind of like Cooking Mama. You go through different steps that they tell you to, but it's very unique. It's literally just the cooking minigame, but less played. A lot of people knew the cooking minigame more, or at least I see people talking about the cooking minigame more, but it was still really cool. I never played it, I never knew about it, and the music isn't as good as the cooking minigame. So it's like spoilers, but obviously the cooking minigame is coming later in the tier list. You don't know where yet, but it's basically just the cooking game, but not as good. Chess and checkers. Everyone knows how to play checkers, and chess, I guess. Less people know how to play chess, but both of them are classic board games everyone should know, and they're in Free Realms. They're exactly what you'd expect. There's probably a chess and checkers minigame in every other game. I know Club Penguin had, like, Mancala. I don't know if they had chess or checkers, but I remember Mancala. You can never go wrong with a game of chess or checkers. This minigame is called Feeling the Beat, and I never got to play it. I never even knew it was in the game until like semi-recently I saw a video that someone sent of it. And it looks really cool actually. I'm a big fan of it. It's like a music game. You trace the little thing, you get points. There's different difficulty modes. And you actually get an item for completing the hardest difficulty. I think you get like a conductor's wand or something, which is really cool. So this is one of my personal favorites, even though I've never played it. It's one of the minigames I'm looking forward to the most in Free Realm Sunrise that I want to play. It just looks really cool. It's a cool idea. The only thing is, I think there's only one place to play it, and it doesn't have very much replayability. Like, once you're done with it, you probably won't play it again. But it looks really cool. And here it is. It's the cooking minigame. Like I said earlier, it's just smelting, but better. It has better music. Actually, you're listening to the music right now. That's the music I put in the background of this video. And it had more variety. I think it had like a bunch of different recipes you could cook. Literally just cooking mama. And it was a job too, the chef. So I don't know what items you got from it, but it was like a pretty big part of the game, being its own class basically. So here's the cooking minigame, kind of like middle top of A tier. This is our first non-flash minigame. It's an in-world minigame, and we're also getting to the point where these were kind of hard to organize. Like, all of the minigames after this are really good and just kind of hard to decide which one's the best. But soccer got the short straw. Soccer is the first of the non-flash minigames here. Because, I don't know, I don't remember enjoying it too much. I did play a little bit when I was a kid. I might get back into it more. I like the idea, but I don't remember it being that great. Not very, like, replayable. It's just the same thing. So, that's that. The trading card game is another one that I never got to play when I was a kid. It just seemed kind of inaccessible or too complicated, probably. I still don't know how to play it. It doesn't look too complicated, but I mean, if I can't play it, I don't really want to learn how at the moment. I will learn once it becomes available, though. That said, it has more replay value than soccer. It looks like it. There's a bunch of cards, so I'm guessing you can probably get pretty good at it. It's extensive for a minigame. Is it a flash minigame? I think so. I'm not super versed in the ways of these things. I think it's a flash minigame, but it's a very extensive flash minigame, and I think it was one of the more popular ones. A lot of people would probably put it in S tier, but since I never played it, I'm just going to leave it right about here. Tower defense. This is a kind of controversial one, for me anyways. I put it in like really high when I first made this tier list, and then I watched a video and I put it really low because I thought it didn't look as good as like balloons. And then some other people gave me their opinions, and I decided to put it high again. Not as high as it was before, but pretty high, because it is a tower defense minigame with multiple different levels. I've seen at least 2, I'm sure there's more, and multiple difficulties for those levels. And then you have a bunch of different tower types. So there's a lot of replayability there, and it's not going to be like Bloons Tower Defense, of course. It's literally a flash game, which is impressive because it's not like an app or a computer game. It's just this little built-in thing, and for that, it does really well. Replayable, everyone else seemed to like it, so it gets to be very top of A tier, and this is the last one of A tier. We're going to be moving on to S tier next. Fishing. I love the idea of fishing. I only ever tried this minigame once, and I don't think I even like cast a line, if I remember correctly. But it looks really cool. It's an in-world minigame. There's at least 3 fishing spots that I can remember off the top of my head, probably more. And everyone loves it. So, I mean, what else is there really to say? A lot of people say, oh, I want to use the fishing profession first thing in FreeRealms. And it had its own clothing as well. It was basically like the Explorer class, except that it was the Fisherman class, and it had its own set of clothing. I remember I had like a brown hat with a little fish skeleton on it that I really liked. And I'm looking forward to trying it once FreeRealms Sunrise drops. Kart racing is one of the few in-game minigames that everyone enjoyed, especially because it's basically just Mario Kart but in FreeRealms. It had items, it had different maps, it had really cool music. So overall, this is agreed to be one of the better, if not the best, minigame, a lot of people would probably say. One of the best games in FreeRealms. And it's not very hard to see why. Demo Derby is very similar to the racing game, same like mechanics. It had the same items, but it's different in that you're not racing, you're just basically destroying other cars. And what's cool about this one that makes it better than racing, in my opinion, is that it's something that they don't even have in Mario Kart. It's not like Balloon Battle. The only other game that I can think of that had a game mode similar to Demolition Derby and FreeRealms is
a game called Blur that was on the PS4, I think. It was like a demolition derby kind of game. But this game mode is it's probably one of the most unique mini games, and it's also one of the funnest. So it definitely deserves to be near the top of S tier. And here it is, finally. Some people may have been expecting this, but probably a lot of people weren't, because this is more of a personal choice for me. I loved Pirate Splendor, probably just because it was one of the only mini games that I knew where it was, and so I played it kind of a lot, probably more than any other mini game. Really fun to me. Lots of different maps, if I remember, and you're just in a pirate ship, and you'd get treasure and bring it back to your port, and like fire cannons at other pirate ships. It was really cool idea, really unique. I can't think of any games like that are similar to that. So very unique to Free Realms, and it was an in-world minigame, so it was like higher quality, not just a flash minigame, and it has nostalgia for me. So for me personally, this is my favorite Free Realms minigame, and the one I'm looking forward to playing the most in Free Realms Sunrise. And that's it. That's it for my tier list. That's the end of S tier. So thank you so much for watching. I do want to know your opinions in the comments if there's anything that maybe you think should be higher or lower. I do love seeing those. I'm not like offended when someone has a different opinion, so do let me know. And if you want more Free Realms content, I'll be posting monthly videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.